What's stronger, blind optimism or hope that sees reality clearly? We live in a culture that celebrates positivity. Stay positive, good vibes only. Everything will work out in the end. These phrases sound comforting, even inspiring. But what happens when everything does not work out? When illness strikes, when a relationship ends, when the world changes in ways we cannot control, blind optimism, instead of giving us strength, can leave us broken. Because the truth is, optimism isn't always enough. But there is something deeper, something stronger, something wiser. It's called realistic hope. Realistic hope is not about denying pain, nor is it about pretending life will always be easy. It is about facing reality with open eyes, accepting the struggle, and still choosing to move forward with courage and meaning. In this video, we're going to explore the power of realistic hope. We'll see why blind optimism fails, how realistic hope sustains us, and 5 practices you can use to cultivate this life-changing strength. Optimism, in its pure form, is beautiful. It gives us energy, it lifts our spirits, it helps us imagine better days. But when optimism becomes blind, when it refuses to see reality, it can become toxic. Think of a friend who tells you, "Don't worry, everything will be fine," when you've just lost your job. The words may be meant as comfort, but they feel hollow, because deep down, you know everything is not fine. Blind optimism is like painting over cracks in the wall without fixing the foundation. It hides the problem for a moment, but eventually the cracks return, wider and deeper. Psychologists call this toxic positivity. It's the idea that we must always look on the bright side, no matter what. But toxic positivity dismisses real emotions. It tells us not to grieve, not to be angry, not to feel. And when we push away those emotions, they don't disappear. They grow stronger in the dark. Blind optimism doesn't prepare us for life, it sets us up for heartbreak. To understand the difference between blind optimism and realistic hope, let's turn to one of the darkest chapters in human history. Viktor Frankl was a psychiatrist imprisoned in Nazi concentration camps during World War II. Surrounded by death, starvation, and suffering, he observed not just physical survival, but psychological survival. Some prisoners held on to blind optimism. They told themselves, "We'll be free by Christmas, we'll be rescued by Easter, we'll be out by the summer." These expectations gave them hope for a while. But when Christmas came and went, when Easter passed, when summer arrived and freedom did not, their hope collapsed. Many of them did not survive. But others, Frankl noticed, had a different kind of hope. They did not tie it to a date. They did not deny the horror of their situation. They accepted reality as it was, harsh, brutal, uncertain. And yet, they still believed their lives had meaning. They still believed in the possibility of a future. Frankl himself survived, not by blind optimism, but by realistic hope. He later wrote in his book, Man's Search for Meaning, "Those who have a why to live can bear almost any how." Realistic hope does not say it will all end tomorrow. Realistic hope says, even if it doesn't end tomorrow, I will endure. I will find meaning, I will keep moving. So what is hope, scientifically speaking? Hope is not just a feeling, it's a cognitive process. Psychologists define it as a combination of 2 things: the belief that the future can be better, the belief that we have the ability to influence that future. This means hope is not passive, it's active. It's not just waiting for rescue, it's choosing to take steps, even small ones, toward a better outcome. Neuroscience shows that when we feel hope, the brain releases dopamine. Dopamine is not just the pleasure chemical, it's the motivation chemical. It drives us to take action. But here's the key. Dopamine surges are strongest when our hope is realistic. When we see a path, even if it's hard. Blind optimism, with no grounding in reality, doesn't sustain dopamine. It leads to disappointment. Realistic hope, tied to meaning and action, sustains motivation over the long term. This is why researchers talk about learned hopefulness, the opposite of learned helplessness. Learned hopefulness is the belief built over time that no matter how bad things get, there are steps we can take, however small, to move forward. So what exactly is realistic hope? Realistic hope is not about denying suffering. It acknowledges the truth of pain, loss, and struggle. It looks reality in the face and says, yes, this is hard, yes, this hurts, and still I will not give up. Optimism says, everything will be fine. Realistic hope says, things may not be fine, but I will find a way to move forward. This is the philosophy of the Stoics. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and philosopher, wrote in his Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The Stoics did not pretend life would be easy. They accepted hardship as part of existence, but they also believed in the power of our response, our attitude, our actions, our inner strength. Realistic hope is not the absence of struggle, it is the courage to continue in spite of it. Let me share another story. A mountaineer set out to climb a dangerous peak. As the climb grew harder, storms rolled in. Some climbers around him said, "Don't worry, the weather will clear any moment." That was optimism. Others said, "This is hopeless, we'll never make it." That was despair, but the mountaineer took another path. He said, "The storm is real. It may not clear today, but I can take one more step. I can survive this hour. I can endure this night." That was realistic hope. Step by step, hour by hour, he endured, and eventually the storm passed. So how can we build realistic hope in our own lives? Here are 5 practices. 1. Acknowledge reality. Clearly. Write down the truth of your situation. Don't sugarcoat it. Don't deny it. This is the foundation of realistic hope, facing reality as it is. 1. Reframe setbacks as feedback. When something goes wrong, ask, "What can I learn from this? How can this shape me?" This turns pain into meaning. 1. Set flexible goals. Hope thrives when we have direction, but it collapses when tied to rigid outcomes. Set goals, but allow the path to shift. 1. Practice gratitude and action. Together each day, write down one thing you're grateful for and take one small action toward your future. Gratitude nurtures the heart. Action strengthens the will. 1. Connect with stories of resilience. Read biographies, listen to stories, surround yourself with examples of people who endured hardship and grew stronger. Hope spreads through example. Realistic hope is more than psychology. It is a philosophy of life. It says, "I will not deny the darkness, but I will not let it extinguish my light." Emily Dickinson once wrote, "Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words, and never stops at all." Realistic hope is that bird. It does not sing because the sky is clear. It sings even in the storm, and that song, however quiet, carries us through. So I ask you, what do you hope for? Not in the sense of blind optimism, not everything will be fine, but in the deeper sense. What meaning do you carry? What strength can you find even in hardship? Realistic hope does not promise an easy road, but it promises that the road is worth walking. When optimism fades, hope remains. When illusions break, hope endures. When life tests us, hope sustains us. If this message resonated with you, subscribe to Pulse of Clarity. Here, we explore the wisdom of philosophy, the insights of neuroscience, and the practices of mindfulness to help you live with clarity, resilience, and hope. Join us and let's walk together, not with blind optimism, but with realistic hope.